Sun dogs.
Sun dogs.
All right, so before we get into some actual topics, first off, gotta say R.I.P. to Kevin Samuels. That's a crazy one. I guess the story is he went home with a girl who happened to be a nurse in Atlanta. They were in or I think it was a hotel room. Then he basically woke up the next morning talking about his chest. He was having chest pains. Then he falls over her at one point and goes into cardiac arrest. She tries to do CPR. Police are called. He goes to the hospital. Apparently, at some point, he was still considered alive, but he ended up passing away. Super sad, bro. Yeah, definitely it's a sad case when you see any creator pass. Are you guys surprised at all the messed up stuff people are saying about him online?
No, because it's the fucking internet. I know everybody wants to just like create a story and all that. Like, what kind of messed up stuff are you talking about?
Like the people that didn't support the type of stuff he was talking about or didn't like him.
Oh, they're like happy that
they're making comments like, yeah, exactly.
Well, for the viewers, if you don't know who Kevin Samuels is, he's definitely he's a guy that was helping a lot of young men get their shit together and also give a lot of people realistic perspectives of expectations that they want in a relationship. He was really good at that. I feel like he was awesome at that. Of course, people are gonna have conflicting point of views. That's really fucked up, especially like when someone does pass. You guys are happy about that he passed because his voice will not be heard in this world again. But if you watch his content, he gives a lot of objective point of views. He gives you everything that, like, he might be a little brutally honest, but shit, I feel like a lot of people need to hear that type of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised by anything from somebody's character, because I think like people are using this opportunity to then voice their own opinions. Like, oh yeah, I'm glad he died, and by the way, he said this wrong, and I want to say how I'm right. Like that's kind of weird to me, right? Like people are using it as like an opportunistic way when it's like, take the message for what it is. You know, I don't really care about what the messenger is, but take the message and learn from it and do what you need to do with that information. Like do what you want to do, you know? But yeah, I'm not surprised by it because like you said, like the internet, they're going to jump on anything. Yeah. So then definitely not. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, like now at this point in time, no, I'm not really surprised. At first though, I was a little triggered, like, bro, people are just crazy because they'll swear they're a good person until they get online. Like, if you had someone in a group of people talking and he was saying the type of stuff Kevin Samuels was talking about, even if you disagreed, I feel like your mindset, probably the average person is not like, this guy needs to die. I would be happy if he was dead. Right. That's a crazy thought to even have. Like, that's just a super like psychopath type thought to even have about anyone. You don't agree with them. Oh yeah, I want this person dead. Right. I think people lose so much sight of stuff when they talk about celebrities. People would just decide, oh, I hate him. You don't even know him, first of all. And he's putting out entertainment and content. You can either find value in it or not, but people are entertainers. Right. And he's made a platform off of his opinion, and he's done a great job. That's why he was where he was at. So even if you don't like a person, it's kind of crazy that someone that's an entertainer that you're clearly entertained by, since you give them that your mental capacity. Clearly the entertainment is working because you feel a way about it. I mean, that's what pretty much we're all doing. If you're making content and it's based around your opinion and your viewpoints on things, people feeling whether they agree or disagree, you're doing your job if people are agreeing or disagreeing. Right. And then those same people, now they're happy he's dead because they didn't agree with his content. Bro, you might not like a basketball player. You're not supposed to like everyone. That's how the game goes. You're supposed to root against certain players. But now you want them dead because they actually passed, and now you're cheering for that. Right. It's crazy, but it's like y'all said, you can't really be surprised about like no morals on the internet. Yeah. So it just is what it is. And big pool.
Kevin Samuels was very polarizing. So when you said like polarizing, you either loved him or you hated him, you know. And the people that hated him, especially now looking at some of the clips that are coming out, I've seen one that he was talking about where he was asking a lady about like pretty much telling her she shouldn't trust her kid if her kid came to her talking about that they were sexually assaulted. He was like, yeah, you can't trust kids, and that is a terrible take, like to just say that outright, you know. He was like, so, I mean, I get that. But for the people that are really praising him, and that's the thing we talk about. Everybody's in their own echo chamber of shit to where it's so divisive that we're even fighting about somebody who had pretty reasonable ideas about relationships in today's society and how the roles that men and women play in relationships and not in relationships. Like you said, even if you disagree with them, you can still say it's a respectable opinion, right? Yeah. But now we're so divisive and so polarized and so separated to now it's like, oh, I'm glad. Like, I'm rooting against you. Like, I can't even be neutral in the situation. It's like, no, I'm against what you're talking about. And what he was talking about was really saying, like, responsibility and onus of, like, who you were as a man. He talked to men a lot. A lot of his earlier videos, he was in the car wearing, like, regular-ass clothes. Yeah. Like, just talking to men pretty much.
His earlier videos was, like, fashion.
Okay.
Those were like his original videos, and then he started doing the talking points, and then he was definitely directing it to men.
So yeah, he upgraded his message. Like he became more of a showman. He understood that, like the entertainment value you talked about. So like the suits, and then like bringing. He used to say like, if I bring women on this show, I'll be the biggest thing ever. And then he eventually started bringing women on the show, and then it took off because he was saying the same shit. But
and they're all calling in to be on the show.
Exactly.
But my thing is, bro, I don't really. Who cares? Like you can point me a million takes of him saying something that isn't true or isn't accurate. Why are we doing this now? This is the stuff you do when someone is alive. If you want to go and argue and debate them and say how you feel about the content. Once someone is passed, bro, we just lost a content creator, someone who had put out a bunch of stuff to the world. People genuinely cared about. People had disagreements with, whether you liked them or not. Who cares? Like, I'm not looking up no bad takes and being like, nah, look what he said here. Right. What are we talking about, bro? Like, he just passed away. That's like you go on someone who had a late night show and be like, well, look, he said this one day, and look at this. What are we talking about, bro? You wouldn't do that about anyone that died. Yeah, let me pull up some old Tory takes on the pod. God forbid someone had, like, what are we talking about, bro? Like,
we're desensitized.
Yeah, exactly. Rest in peace. And everyone swear they believe in God, but then look how people act when someone that they disagreed with passes. Someone they weren't fond of, that they didn't even know. What if he was like, nah, I just did it all for clout. I don't even believe any of that stuff. What's that? Like, you don't even know this guy. I don't think that's the truth, but what are we talking about? Like, you don't even know this guy well enough to have a problem. If y'all walk past each other on the street, you wouldn't say shit to him. And if you did, his job is to keep moving. He can't get in no argument with a random ass wiener.
Exactly.
Like, what are we talking about?
Exactly.
Like, fam, you do not. He don't know you. He never knew you. He was putting out his shit, and you feel empowered because you're on Twitter.
And he had polarizing content that was directed towards men and women. It wasn't just like, because he was mostly famous for a lot of the takes about when he's speaking to women like in through the FaceTime and all that. But have you guys seen the clip of the guy when he's talking? He's like a 20-year-old guy, and Kevin Samuels asking him, he's like, "You got a big dick?"
Oh yeah,
bro. Because he asked, he's like, "You got a big dick?" And the guy's like, "I'm above average." And he's like, "You got a big dick?" And he just kept saying, "You would know if you had a big dick." And then he's like, "You're trying to have a woman that cooks, cleans, and all these things for you, but you make $1,000, and you ain't even got a big enough dick to give him." And I was just like, "Yo, you see, there's so many clips like that get overlooked too." And I just feel like there's so many people that were watching only the ones that affect them, right?
Yeah.
And it
just
is
to be pissed off about something. And I read a lot of comments from black people, or heard comments from black people that were saying that he kind of was a father figure for a lot of young men that didn't have that male voice to kind of tell them like, hey, this is how you should be moving or how you shouldn't be moving. So for a lot of young black people, he was, at least from what I've read about, and I can even say that too, like he's a voice. I wouldn't say he's a father figure or anything like that, you know, but we don't really have a lot of male figures that are still masculine in their frame to say like, hey, you could be a man, and here's how you could succeed being a man this type of way, you know, like there's not a lot of productive talk in that direction. So he was a good voice for that, you know?
And now we got Fresh and Fit.
Hell no.
Oh, God, yeah, bro.
Fuck them, no.
Yeah, that's they go be coming up for the young man in this society. Nah, bro. Like, I feel like Kevin Samuels was an OG. He was like the start of the manosphere.
The Godfather. I'll say he's the Godfather of the manosphere.
Yeah,
for sure. And I've learned some, you know, something from him, and just keep it pushing.
Bro, you got to just be happy for entertainment, bro. That's the thing. So many people, like, they get so intertwined and raveled in this shit, and it's like, bro, it's entertainment, bro. Like, you just watching the video we're winning off that. Like, anyone that's a creator, like, you just being here, we're already winning. You can say whatever you want. If we get 100 comments and 50 of them are them saying mean stuff, the engagement numbers are the same. Like, it doesn't matter. The engagement is, it's 100 comments. Fuck all the rest of that shit. I'm gonna change them.